Hi friends, welcome to my channel. For a very long time, I wanted to shoot a video about reality transurfing, the author's method of managing reality, manifesting everything you want in your life, invented by Russian metaphysician Vadim Zeland. I must say right away that I'm going to shoot 2 or even 3 videos on this topic because it's quite large. In any case, I advise you to read Reality Transurfing. At least 3 of those books is translated into English, but possibly into the other languages as well. And the author of the book, by his own example, proved the effectiveness of his methodology for managing reality. He wrote a book with the intention of publishing the world's bestseller, and he did it. Simple Russian person who even couldn't call himself a writer. I read a lot of similar literature, but to this day, especially Transurfing responds to me. Why? First of all, these books are written in simple, understandable, almost catchy language without unnecessary allegories and vague judgments. Secondly, the examples from the life are given there, so we easily understand how to introduce the principles of Transurfing into our reality. How I found about this methodology. I accidentally found out about Transurfing, or rather my ex-boyfriend found it, and we listened to the audiobooks in headphones as spellbound. It was simply impossible to come off. Also because these books are the practical magic, which meets expectation of those who want to find their own truth, want to understand why everything in life is not going the way they want. Why do some things happen just for spite? In these videos I will analyze 7 basic principles of Transurfing and give examples, including those from my life, where Transurfing really worked. And it will be fun, so stay with me. Many principles of Transurfing may seem very obvious, but the biggest trouble is that people generally are sleeping awake. Daily routine blocks our conscious perception of reality, and a very low level of awareness makes us become subjects that can be easily provoked by the external stimuli. If you truly want to become the master of your reality, Transurfing can help you. So let's begin to analyze the main principles of reality Transurfing, knowledge that Vadim Zeland literally received from the space of options and became its transponder. The first basic principle sounds like this: the world is like a mirror, reflects your attitude towards it. Are you convinced that all the best in this world goes to someone else? Then you will end up with nothing. Life seems to you an obstacle course in which you constantly need to fight with someone for the place under the sun. It will become your reality, and you really will have to step on people. However, once you get the idea that the world has enough benefits for you and all your goals can be realized naturally, you will be surprised to see that this also becomes true. The world constantly puzzles you. Guess what am I? Kind, filled of happiness and light, or evil, gloomy, aggressive, unjust? And depending on your answer, it becomes so personally for you. To think that the world is hostile, you will get more and more ill-wishers. If you are sure that the world is warm and affectionate, it will prepare the most pleasant surprises for you. Thus, you form the layer of your world in the way of your thoughts. And the world, like a mirror, reflects your attitude towards it. That is, it begins to correspond to your ideas about it. Life example. One student spent a month preparing for the exam and learned all topics except one. He comes to the exam full of fears and anxieties, terribly worried. And so, according to the Murphy's Law, he gets at the very same topic that he doesn't know. And the second student comes to the exam without any preparation at all, but in a light mood and high spirits, confident in his success. He smiles at the teacher, pulls out the ticket with the topic, and it turns out that he is familiar with this theme because he has just recently discussed it with his friend. And as a result, the student gets credit for the material that he knows badly. And his more diligent companion goes for the receipt with the gloomy thoughts, "Fools are lucky." There was such a bright moment in my life proving that the first principle of Transurfing is working. In 2012, when I had no idea of what the Transurfing is about, one event happened. I was engaged in dancing, team hip-hop, and my team had to perform at the major national competition. At the same time, we applied in professionals nomination, while in fact we were just only amateurs. On the eve of the competition, I watched a film about dancing, Step Up, and for some reason, while watching it, I had the feeling that we would definitely win. Such, directly deliberate, blind confidence. We are the champions. And I was walking down the street looking at my reflection in the shop windows and thought, look at this champion. I'm the greatest dancer ever. Although there was no reason to think so. But my intention simply didn't allow another option. Not a shadow of doubt. And in general, I'm quite doubting person in my life, but here was a stunning confidence. And you know what? We won. And so that the whole arena gave us standing ovation. We took the Golden Cup of the country and went to Paris on behalf of Russia. This competition was one of the most greatest highlights in my life. The same things happens every time. I don't worry much about who's looking at me, in front of whom I'm singing, for example. And if I'm relaxed and highly confident in my value as an artist or person, I don't create these excessive potentials, Vadim Zeland believes that our life failures arise from the fact that we can mess things up. For example, we wish for something too much, or we are too afraid to lose something. And the universe sees this and tries to restore the energy balance and cancel the situation. So, for example, you were so in love with the person that you screwed up and turned the person away from you. The point is the collision of powerful energies. We don't see them, but they exist. So, the surest way to succeed in any business is to be calm and confident and just take what was owed you. So you will rejoice after the goal is achieved. The second principle of Transurfing, the reflection is formed in the unity of soul and mind. If you are moving towards the goal in the agreement of your mind and soul, the force that Transurfing calls external intention helps you. It materializes the sector in the space of options that matches your way of thinking and transforms your goal into reality. If you really want something but you forbid yourself given reasonable logical arguments, or on the contrary, if you're trying hard to convince yourself of something but inside you're feeling discomfort and resistance, then nothing will work out. When the mind speaks of one thing and soul asks for another, the image of your goal is blurred and not realized. Very often in the modern world, our mind gets under the influence of so-called pendulum systems and rushes to the other people's goals. We forget about our true desires and needs of the soul. We don't hear her quiet voice inside us. We drive ourselves into the framework and come up with obstacles for ourselves. Life example. The girl works as an accountant because her parents taught her that this is reliable, stable and monetary profession. Every day she forces herself to go to this unloved job, suppressing in herself the desire to quit and get creative and become photographer and artist. And in her work she doesn't reach special heights and she doesn't earn much money, but her friend chose profession in the agreement of her soul and mind and already managed to become famous, sought after and highly paid stylist. The best decision-making tool is hidden in this principle. If you have to persuade yourself to something, bringing some logical, reasonable arguments, but at the same time something troubling you inside, then this is not your way. Don't go there, refuse, if it's not too late to refuse. And vice versa, if everything is somehow strange and it's not clear what to expect from the cooperation, for example, but your soul sings inside from the inexplicable happiness, then you're definitely where you have to be. Once I received a proposal from a person and it was quite positive, but for some reason my heart suddenly began beating in panic, as if everything was screaming inside me, no, 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 don't do it. But I decided to receive that experience anyway, and it finished badly. In general, I believe that every person should listen better to the primary signals that occur in the response to any event of their life. And then there is a chance not to waste time for the unnecessary experience. The third principle of transurfing, the dual mirror, reacts with the delay. In ordinary mirror, reflection appears immediately, you know. As soon as you smile, your smile appears in the reflection. If it's necessary to wave your hand, the reflection waves you back. But the dual mirror of the world always reacts with a certain delay. Your goal can't be realized instantly. The image of the mirror appears gradually. Imagine such an unusual situation. You're standing in front of the mirror and nothing is visible there. Emptiness. And only after some time the image begins to appear gradually, as if in the photograph. And at a certain moment you begin to smile, but in the reflection you see the same serious poker face. So you raise your hands, but everything remains the same in the mirror as well. You immediately drop your hands down and nothing changes. The mirror still is without any reflection. But in order to receive the reflection with your hands up, you have to hold your hands for some time, because our dual mirror of the world works in the same way. That is why all practices for the realization of your intention must be performed regularly and systematically until the result is obtained. Life example: one businessman was sure that his company would grow and become successful, entering the international markets. This didn't happen immediately, of course, but his firm inner knowledge, the determination to have and act free of importance and excess potentials, as well as the practice of transurfing, significantly accelerated this process, and his goal was achieved. For example, I'm a terribly impatient person, and sometimes I really want to quit something if I don't see the results right away. But after one event of my life, and it deserves special attention and separate video, I learned to wait. And transurfing helps me in this a lot, because the fruits ripen slowly. Everything you want doesn't happen at once. From this third principle, it follows that our negative emotions and fears are also reflected in the dual mirror, and sooner or later are realized in reality. And they can be realized in one form or another. So be very careful when you are looking in the mirror of the world. Today I mentioned 3 first principles of reality transurfing, but this is far from all, believe me. So in the next video you will find out even more interesting information, how to rule your own world. So like this video, press bell for notifications and subscribe. Stay true and kind, the rest things never mind.